Hi everyone, Dr. Colleen here. This video is going to be all about abs. We are going to work the Rectus Abdominus, which is the six-pack. We are going to work the Transverse Abdominus, which is our natural corset or distraction ab muscle. And then we're going to work the obliques. You're going to be on the floor for most of it on our backs. So make sure if you're on a hard surface, you have enough cushion so that it's comfortable. And then we're going to be on all fours and in plank position at the end. Okay, so we're going to get started by coming down. So always taking your time, whatever's comfortable for you, to get safely down on the mat. Now I'm not wearing shoes today, but you could totally wear shoes for this whole workout. I'm also not going to use weights for this video. This will be more of a beginner to intermediate, but definitely if you add weights, it will push you into the more intermediate zone of this video. So I will try to remember to always let you know how and when you could be using weights. Okay, so we're in this position. We walk the shoulders down. Let's give the neck a few stretches. Make sure that's nice and open. And we're going to start with the posterior pelvic tilt, which there's a whole video on this if you want to look for that, with the transverse abdominis breath. So it's that breath that we're engaging that corset muscle, that if you develop that breathing technique and execute it all throughout your day, you'll always be working that transverse abdominis. Okay, so we're going to start with the tilt. We're going to inhale, belly up. Exhale, belly pulls into the spine, back pushes into the mat. There's a slight lift of the tailbone and squeeze of the glutes. Inhale, belly up. Exhale, belly in. Inhale, belly up. Exhale, belly in. And again, don't be shy with your breath. Inhale, especially if you're working out at home. You really want to bring all that air out and contract that muscle in and up. Inhale. Exhale. We're working on the 9 to 15, so perform 15. Once that feels good, you move on to the second set with a small break in between each set. 30 seconds, 20 seconds. Inhale up. Exhale in. And again, when you're done the 3 sets, that's when we would add the weights, okay? Ankle weights, free weights, and exhale. On this next one, we're going to go up into our bridge. Inhale, belly up. Exhale, belly in. Little more squeeze of the glutes and drive those hips up towards the ceiling. Again, my weight is mostly in my heels. Walk the shoulders down. Make sure the neck is nice and loose. Knees, hip, and shoulders in line, and I like to roll it down in the beginning. Inhale, belly up. Exhale, belly in. Squeeze up. So again, we're just warming up the abs because there are other muscles working for the bridge here. Inhale, exhale, squeeze and drive up, and exhale, roll it down. Okay, moving on to the bridge with the march. Inhale, exhale, drive up, and we're going to lift and lift. So you could be wearing ankle weights for this, for that march, if that feels up for it, or you could have 2 free weights here on the hips as we drive up, or a single weight in the hips. Okay, what we want to make sure that we're not doing is that when we come on up and lift our foot, that our hip doesn't drop down to the mat. We want to keep it in line with the knee and the shoulder, and it lifts. And whether you even just come up onto a toe tap or it's a quick lift, whatever feels right for you, to the full march up and down. So I'm going to just show the in between. Inhale, belly up. Exhale, belly in. Squeeze up, lift, and lower. Okay, waking up some side muscles now. All right, next one we're going to go into is the dead bug. There is lots of options for this dead bug, but I like the opposite arm, opposite leg. So what we're going to do is keep our knees in line with hips. How we cheat, I'm going to try to do my best not to cheat on camera, is the knees will come in closer to the chest. Okay, it's just not working as hard as when they're out like this. Arms come up, keep the shoulders engaged though. And again, we'll start out smaller. And the way you could add weights here could be on your wrist or your ankle weights. All right, we're gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg, and we're just gonna do small first. Okay, I'm gonna go a little deeper. Oh, I'm cheating just a little. And we're breathing, we're inhaling, and we're exhaling. Draw that belly in, inhale, exhale. Now I'm gonna go the deepest, the furthest, the most challenging. Last one. Great job. Always nice to pull in those knees and give a nice stretch. As you're starting to work out your abs, the two areas that can feel the most achy or sore afterwards can be your neck from having to hold it up for some of the exercises, and your back, because when the abs are not strong, you will use your back to try to execute some of the movements. So if you're noticing that, number one, keep your head down on the ground until you slowly build up the strength, or maybe do half neck up for some and then lay the head back down until you build up the strength in the neck. And then for the back, again, maybe not do so difficult, and definitely don't be adding weight until you can catch up. Those abs can catch up, okay? All right, so we just finished dead bug. We're gonna go into reverse curl. So my hands are gonna be at the side. We're gonna flex our feet. And again, you could have ankle weights on for this one, but this is a small movement. So in the beginning, it might just be an initiation of communication to that lower belly. You might not have talked to this area in a while. So it might be very small movements in the beginning. Thinking about taking your feet and stamping them on the ceiling. That's what I was taught years ago. But we don't want to be throwing ourselves up in that position, because again, that's just gonna hurt your back, okay? So, and you're not gonna get the workout, which is more important to me. You wanna be using your time wisely, okay? So we're gonna inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Now I've been working on this for quite a few years, so I can go up a lot higher. The other option would be to complete this one coming all the way down to the floor with a heel tap. So this would be more intermediate, even advanced. We inhale and exhale, and then we come down and we tap. And lower, inhale and exhale. Okay, all right, let's get into some obliques. So we're gonna work on the bicycle crunch. Fingertips come lightly behind your ears. Must have moved up a little. And the beginner would look just like this. We keep our feet flat on the floor, and we're gonna bring our opposite elbow over to the opposite knee, and then switch. And so what I'm thinking about is my right side, right rib cage, left hip bone. I'm gonna bring those two over and together. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And exhale. Okay, making it a little bit more advanced, we can have the legs up, and we could just do smaller crunches in the beginning, keeping it at 90-90. Exhale. Or we can extend that leg out as we cross over. Exhale. Pull that belly in. Exhale. Last one. Good job. And then slowly lower down. And don't forget to give a nice hug in. Okay, we are going to move on to what I call the flower curls. So we are going to start in this nice tight open back stretch pose here. And now we're going to curl our heads up. And we're going to inhale, open up, and exhale, close in. Sorry, plant. Now, again, this is going to challenge the neck. So if it's too much, you could keep your hands here and open up like this and have less of the arm movement. Exhale. Find the arms out. It does give me a little extra room to come in and crunch. But again, I generally do this one half and half. And if that's too much for you, then you can go ahead, that might fall, and just bring them in, hold, and up. Okay, a couple different options for sure. All right, we're going to take our time and roll over onto all fours. And let's give our back a little bit of break from that floor. Okay, we're going to start with one that's found in your back strengthening series, which is the bird dog. Okay, so we're going to go hands in line with elbows, in line with shoulders, slight bend. Okay, remember, I'm always reminding you, if you have that hyper laxity in your joints where when you do this, your elbow is above where your wrist and shoulder are, you definitely want to keep that protected and not overlock your elbows. But even if you don't have that, I like to keep everything in a soft bend. Okay, not like this, but just here's locked and here's released. Okay, so you can totally see my arm twist in that movement when I go to lock it. Okay, so bird dog, opposite arm, opposite leg, and come on down. Inhale, exhale, and come on down. Trying to keep as even as possible and nice and slow and controlled. And when this is out and this is out, I'm feeling like it's lengthening away from my body. It's not just a lift up, it's also a lengthening. Keeping that belly engaged, getting a little bit more glutes again. And last one. Okay. Next one, we're going to go into a bear plank. These ones, you're not really doing the 9 to 15 for. You could do this for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then 30 seconds, and then go from there if you want to after that. Okay, so bear plank is a little more into that all fours position, and we are just going to lift the knees up off the floor. Feel that core engage. You're also going to feel this in your quads, okay? Always good to add quads in a day. We're always using those. Okay, so you're just steadying your breath. And you're holding and squeezing. Okay, remember, if it's a problem on your wrist, you can do fists. You can do on weights to give you more room. But also, if you're going to use your hands, they're spread and those fingertips are engaged and pulling in. I'm not just letting all my weight fall into my wrist. I have this whole hand engaged, so the weight is being distributed throughout the whole hand. Okay? All right, so that's our bear plank. Okay, now we're gonna go into regular plank, and this can be done on elbows or the wrists. I'm gonna do it on the elbows just because that's my favorite way to do planks. And you can do it on your knees or full plank. So this first one, you have the option of the two. The next one we're gonna do is the plank with a knee tap, so we will have to lift the knees at that point, okay? So, but I'll show all the, and this is kind of a good one to have shoes on, or I could go down to bare feet too. Okay, so here is regular plank. I have a soft bend in my elbow. My hands are spread, my fingers are engaged, and again, 10-second, 20-second, 30-second hold, okay? Plank on your knees, full arm plank on your knees. You can cross the ankles, keep them together, or down, okay? Holding plank. Okay, the next would be coming down onto the elbows. My elbows are under my shoulders. You can clasp the hands together, intertwine, or leave them flat down, whatever is comfortable to you. Coming up to full elbow plank. Okay. And this is what knee plank on elbows would look like. Working on 10, 20, 30, and so on. Okay, all right. This next one would be after the plank you just did. Now you're gonna add in toe tap, or sorry, not toe taps. We could do toe taps, but not in this video. We're gonna do knee taps. So if you're working on coming from the knee position to the full plank, whether it's on elbow or straight arm, this is the one to start practicing in between and seeing how much strength and endurance you can build to maybe stay off the knees, okay? But don't think you're not getting a workout on your knees. You totally are, especially if that's belly's engaged and you are doing that extra transverse abdominis breath on top of it all. Okay, so we're gonna start on our knees, and we're gonna lift up and down. And just steady your breath. There's probably gonna be some shaking, quivering, and down. Awesome. I would keep those at the timing as well. But I guess though, since you're kind of doing reps at that point, you could move it into the 9 to 15 if you want. If not, stick with 10 seconds rest, 10 seconds rest. Okay, we're gonna go into a side plank. So we gotta work those obliques a little more. We really only did the bicycle crunch. And then I'm gonna finish it off with some toe taps at the end. Okay, so options: bent knee, my knees are in line, straight leg cross, straight leg stacked. Okay, I'm gonna start here with the bent knee, and it's this side down here that's working, even though the whole area will be engaged as we come up. All right, so we're gonna inhale, lift up, readjust if you need to. Hand can come straight up, be here, be bent, or in front for support. Okay, what's gonna happen is your hip's gonna wanna drop down, and we're gonna wanna keep that lifted shoulder, hip, knee. Okay, so we can hold it, or we can do hip dips into it. Okay, and then of course we just flip on over to do the other side. Up, whatever feels good, holding for the regular side plank, shoulder in line with elbow, hands just relax there, and then adding in, you can rest in between for sure, and add in the hip dips and down. Okay? All right, that should feel nice and strong and warm in there. Okay, so this one is traditionally done without the hands behind the head. But again, when you're just starting out, building that strength, please don't hesitate to bring your hands behind your head and your elbows out. I'm actually gonna flip because that ottoman is in my way over there. Okay, so your heels are about 6 inches away from your glutes, shoulders are down. I do palms up. I don't know if it's traditionally done that way, but inhale, we curl up, back is engaged into the mat, and you tap, 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 tap. I don't know if I said toe taps, but I believe it's heel taps, because I can't quite reach. Okay, so at that point, you might really feel it in your neck, so you want to readjust so you're not doing anything weird with your head, and then come back up, and what you can do is just try to imagine driving your elbow down to those heels. Okay, so you're feeling that crunch on this side as you come over. So we're exhaling, back to center, exhale, back to center. Keep the feet grounded. You could also have a block or a pillow or a blanket in between your knees to keep that supported. Exhale. Or back to the hands. Okay? All right, I think that is a great variety to get started on working this core. So now we're going to move into stretching it. There's not too many ways to stretch it. I guess number one is to stay where you're at in this position and reach your toes away and reach your arms away and just feel that open up through that belly. If the back arch is little, it's just fine. Okay, and just nice steady breaths. Remember 6 to 8 breaths or 1 minute hold. The next option is to, in the lying down world, is we're going to come around back to our bellies, and we're just in this position, kind of opening up this front upper top of the belly. Now remember, always sneak in that little chin stretch. You don't want those extra chins in there or that thickening that happens, so just push that chin up. And if this bothers your low back to come into this extension, some people love it. More people love it than don't, but there are a few people that just don't like it. I like coming up to just this height only, but the other option is to come a bit deeper. Draw those hands down just below the shoulders, and you press up into a higher extension and belly opening, okay? My body's not too fond of that depth, so I prefer to just hang out in here, and I really just think about kind of dragging my pelvis and pulling my elbows back towards my hips to feel that open expansion in the front of the belly. Okay, and then come back and over. So what you could do is, in between, like I said, what I will do is I'll do a certain exercise and then I'll stretch. Now when you're on your back, it's easier to do the one that's the full extension on, or full opening on your back, and then when you're on bird dog or the other position, then you would do the extension of on your belly. I'll get my words right, I promise. All right, I hope you learned a lot. I hope you're feeling stronger across here. Remember, take your time, be kind to your neck, be kind to your low back, and listen accordingly. Only add in weights once you've completed the 3 sets with complete form and you're not feeling like you're being challenged in any way. And then just add in light and then move up from there, because form is key. You want to be engaging the right form and the breath on top of it. So if you're so worried about the weight, or you're having to rush through the exercise and you can't even get the full breath in, I'd say drop those weights and just come back to basics. And I promise you, your strength will build as you engage that breath and do that tiny little isometric hold versus rushing past that and just adding weights, okay? All right, I hope you enjoy this video and that you have an awesome day. Bye.